health and your general well-being. Like I said, this is Formula U. And yes, we're back now. Welcome again to Formula U, where we look into your health and general well-being. Today, we're going to be shedding light on the prevalence of sickle cell anemia in Nigeria. Now, sickle cell anemia is a generic blood disorder characterized by abnormally shaped red blood cells. It is highly prevalent in Nigeria, with the country having one of the highest rates in the world. This condition poses a significant health challenge, and it requires increased awareness, screening, and access to appropriate healthcare resources. Joining us today to, explore the impact of this genetic blood disorder is it is a very high occurrence in Nigeria, and the urgent need for awareness, support, and effective healthcare interventions is a sickle cell warrior and the founder of Joyce. Did I get that? Joyce Foundation, Miss Judith Ojonua Matthew. Did I get it?
You tried.
Because I know you just taught me. You just schooled me. Ojonua. Ojonugwa.
Yes.
Okay,
Ojonugwa.
I apologize. Ojonugwa. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Chinwe Blessing, for having me. You're so beautiful.
Oh,
if no one has told you that, I'm telling you today.
I think I know. I'm one of those people. I'm usually
You're
like,
so vain.
I know. I'm vain. I tell you what, today I went over to UTC to cover a story with my colleagues, and when we were coming back, we had to do a little walk. And I was complaining, like, my shoes hurt. I'm tired. I don't want to walk anymore. And then I looked down, like, my feet look great though. And I'm like, I'm so vain. So you are a sickle cell warrior. I love that they call people living with sickle cell warriors.
Yes, we're warriors. We don't like to be called C-class, because that name, we find it very derogatory. Like, why would you call us C-class? We know we are always falling sick. We know that, but we don't like the name C-class, so we prefer warriors to our title. I think that's a title.
I do like it. I like it a lot. I have lived from a very young age, lived very close to, and ended up being very close to people that are living with sickle cell anemia. In fact, at some point, I would meet people and I ask them, what's your genotype? Because I was done. I didn't want to be close to anyone like that anymore because of the experiences I had. I've lost 3 friends, and most times they advance in age. They're in their 30s, and we're like, oh, we're out of it. Yeah, we're great. And one day they're amazing. The last friend I lost, God rest his soul, Ahmed, we were supposed to be hanging out the day before, and everybody was together, and he didn't show up. So we called him, like, he had just gotten married. So you're like, oh, so because you're married now.
Yeah.
It's not even up to 1 month. It wasn't up to 2 months.
Yeah.
So like, you don't want to. But he couldn't talk. He was like, oh, I'm going to call you guys back. He didn't tell us anything. And the next morning, our mutual friend Abdul is in my DMs saying, like, I'm like, what? Let's go and beat him and wake him up, because it was that tragic. I say it's smiling now. It still has that.
Fresh.
So let's talk about an overview. Let's start there before we personalize it. Can you provide us with an overview of sickle cell anemia and its impact on individuals that are affected by the condition?
Okay. Nigeria has the highest record of sickle cell births. Nigeria, yes. So I tell you for free that we are doing this awareness, but I don't think people are actually paying attention to it, and it's that bad because we're trying, and then lots of persons still want to forge ahead to get married. But I mean, AS and AS genotype coming together, they know they have incompatible genotype, but they still go ahead to get married. This is a no-no. And like I said, Nigeria has the highest record of sickle cell birth. 150,000 babies are born every year with sickle cell. So this year, before 365 days or 366 days of this year, 2023 runs out, we would record 150 births. Why? This is alarming. And that's why myself, I'm taking the burden. My NGO, Judith Ojonigwa Sickle Cell Foundation, and several other NGOs in Abuja, in Lagos, cut across the whole world, were still driving home the message: please know your genotype. Know your genotype. Know your genotype. Because this disease, yes, it's a disease. It's, aside the fact that it's expensive to manage, it is excruciating and painful. Like, it will even disrupt everything you stand for as a whole. So in order to avoid all of that, just know your genotype from the onset. Yes. So the prevalence of this disease in Nigeria is that every year 150,000 babies are born, and we want to cut down that number at least before year 2030. That's my vision.
I mean, that is just sad. It's just really sad. I remember
Quite pathetic.
the first experience I had with, a sickle cell warrior was in secondary school. My very good friend, and then I found out that was why she was always sick. There were seasons, especially when it was really cold. Then she goes.
Yes.
She goes, and then I think when I was in senior secondary school, when I was in senior class, they now merged me with this other lady that was. We were in the same
class
corner.
Set. Okay, corner. Okay.
You would have an apartment and then you have corners. I went to a unity school.
Okay.
And we're in the same corner, and that was something. She had this wound on her leg and just never
Leg
healed.
ulcers. Yes.
She had one of those. Now let's talk about genotypes. A lot of us hold on to genotypes that we were told. We don't really know. It's like you're going to school, like you're A, just go. Or they'll say you're A positive. Your blood group is
okay. O positive.
You're O positive, and your blood group is AA.
Myself?
No. That's what they will tell people. They'll say your genotype is AA.
Okay. And then the blood group should be like O positive or O negative. Right?
That's like basically what they tell a lot of people. And I believe that after you grow up, you're supposed to take it upon yourself, check yourself into a facility, hospital
yes.
and get checked. Right, it's very important, because the next question I want to ask you is, now we have established that Nigeria has one of the highest, if not the highest, prevalences of sickle cell anemia in the world.
In the world, yes.
What factors would you say contribute to this high occurrence in the country?
Of a truth, I would just say ignorance. Yes, ignorance on the part of people, not taking this thing into cognizance that it is very, very important for them to know their genotype. And then the government too, they're not doing a lot of work. I feel there's need for more awareness campaigns, more workshops on sickle cell. Yes. And then there was one time we're trying to do something like a bill to be passed, so we're still on it anyways. But then for a start, or for the noun, I'll just say ignorance on the part of people. That's just it. Because we are the people or persons that in the olden days they call us, sorry to use this word, ogbanje. Yes, that's what they call us. Because giving birth to a child, every time the child is always falling sick, and then none of your kids are falling sick, you'll be like, why is this child falling sick? You're
trying to return back to the water.
Something like that. So we are not ogbanjes, that's it. It's just our gene coming out to play, but then we're not ogbanjes. So ignorance on the part of people, that's just what I would just say.
Okay, great. Now I remember coming across your page. I didn't know you. Someone had reposted your on Instagram, and you were crying, and you were saying it is really painful. I am in so much pain. Don't get married to someone. And I saw that video, and I just kept looking at it. I was like, and at the time, you wouldn't know, when I saw that, at about that time, my friend was in the hospital, the one that I eventually lost. Okay. So I was really angry within me.
And can I shock you?
Yeah.
I'm currently having a crisis, but I'm here.
You guys are really warriors.
Yes,
now,
we are.
What I want to ask you is, how does it affect the lives of individuals in Nigeria? Now, I'm talking your physical, emotional, and social well-being. You're currently having a crisis. I remember we spoke about it yesterday, and I was like, you won't be able to come, and you said I would come. I'm like,
come.
What? I'd have a headache, and I don't want to come to work. So how does it affect your life emotionally, physically, and your social well-being? I
would just heave a sigh of relief right now, because Sickle cell is painful. I'll start from that. Sickle cell has made me lose a lot of things, and also my friends. I like to call them my friends because we share same thing. That's people who are also warriors like me. They are my friends. Okay, sickle cell. How would I start? Sickle cell is expensive. Sickle cell is excruciating. Okay, now I'll tell a story. I had AVN, avascular necrosis of the left femur. This is very long English, but I'll break it down. This is a condition where blood will get stuck in your bone, and then your bone starts to get rotten. Yes, so I had that condition in 2018. It started like joke. I was having pains on my hip. Next thing, I couldn't work, I couldn't do anything. I was now bedridden. Went to the hospital and I was diagnosed of AVN, and then I was even on the last stage of having AVN, and my surgeon was like, we needed to carry out a surgery ASAP. And then in 2019 I had the surgery and I am fine. This is 4 years down the line.
I mean, you walk fine.
Yes, I walk fine. I wear my heels and then I'm fine. So but then this surgery is quite expensive. So many of my friends have had that surgery last year, 2 years ago, and then it wasn't even successful. Yes. I would say for a fact that even some of the hospitals in Nigeria, they're not even helping matters. They don't really know much about sickle cell education. We want a situation where, or an opportunity where we would have like a hospital that's just mainly for sickle cell. We're trying to have that. They said they have one in Lagos, but I don't know if it's quite if it's functioning. Yes. But then if it is, there still need to be much work. Maybe train all of the doctors to just be, for them to just be trained on sickle cell, so they'll just know what and what to do. So that video you saw me do last year that is going viral, I think it's having over 9,000 something views, almost 1 million views on Instagram. It's going viral. I like the fact that it's going viral. At least more and more people are knowing about sickle cell. So we are special beings. I like to say that we're special beings. God has already given us the grace to carry this pain. Okay, we're 2 sickle cell warriors in my family. We lost one, my elder sister, and then I'm the only warrior now. I try to give my siblings hope. I try to give them strength. I'm even the ones that they are drawing strength from instead of me drawing strength from them. But though they are my inspiration, because I live for my dad. My mom is late, and then I live for my dad currently because he's always the one spurring me to be better, spurring me to do all the things that I do, and I'm so grateful to him. So what was your question again?
My question is, how does it affect you? How does it affect you? In what ways does it affect you mentally? I think you've spoken about that. You have touched on that, and you've also talked about your physical, and then you have answered the question basically. All right. Let's talk about the regions and the communities in Nigeria that this is more prevalent.
Regions, I would say in the slums. Yes, that's where it's more.
The
trenches, yeah, let me use that word. Yeah, the trenches. They really do not know more about sickle cell. So sometimes it's not enough to just, in the cities, you're just carrying out your awareness. There's a need for us to actually go to the slums, and we're doing that, and we'll keep doing that. Yes.
I mean, I can see you recently just had one.
Yes, we went to a school, yes, here in Abuja. We sensitized and we educated the teachers and the students on sickle cell. It's a tour, actually we're not done yet. Okay. Yes.
So before I ask you to break down what genotypes can marry and what genotypes cannot, not necessarily marry, we say marry here, what genotypes can be having children, like there is a genotype you should just not. There is this myth about sickle cell. Let's talk about all of the myths.
Okay.
I mean, you'll be in a better position to have heard most of them.
Yes.
So what are the myths?
Okay. One of the myths are they said sickle cell warriors are lazy. My God, we are not lazy. Have you taken a look at me? I am as strong as anything you can think of. So that's one myth. Secondly, there's a myth that says sickle cell warriors cannot live to a certain age.
Yeah, that was what I wanted you to touch on exactly.
Sickle cell warriors can live as long as they want.
But do they get over or it stays with
They
you?
do not. See, you don't get over the pain. It's just that as you grow older, you're much more knowledgeable, you're much more educated. Okay, take for instance now, while I was growing up, when it starts to rain, just like every other kids, I want to go play in the rain, yeah. But my mom will be like, no, don't do this, don't do that. So as I'm growing older, or sometimes when I try to be stubborn, I say, okay, let me just go and do what other kids are doing, and then I end up having a crisis. This is myself now telling myself that, oh, this is wrong, this is right, and then that's it. So you don't get over it.
There's no set of people as stubborn as sickle cell warriors.
No, we don't like that word.
Asthmatic people. These two people, they want to do what they shouldn't be doing. And I speak for. I have seen it firsthand. I know someone very close to me. Person is asthmatic. Never has her inhaler on.
Why?
She's never close to her. No. She's almost having an attack. What is it? Where is your inhaler? I left it at home, and she's struggling. You're like, girl. And then, of course, I told you about my friend Becky. Becky would literally do everything.
Yeah,
like, Becky, why are you wearing heels for 9 hours straight? You know that your joints are not going to be happy with you. She's like, girl, I'm slaying.
But it's not easy. How can you live a life of restrictions? That's the word. No one likes to do that. Okay, even the fact that we take our routine drugs, because of course they're routine drugs, because we take them every day. No one wants to live like that, where you have to wake up like your life is just conditioned to one thing. Don't do this, don't do that. So no one loves that. So the final myth I would love to talk on is, people say sickle cell warriors are drug addicts. We are not drug addicts, and we are not attention seekers. Let me tell you this. There was one time I was having a crisis. I went to the hospital. I was like, I met the nurse. I was like, I'm having a crisis. She just looked at me. I thought that I'm genotype HPSS. I live with sickle cell. I'm sickle cell. So she was like, okay, that's it. So she just left me. I was seated. She went about her normal duties. Then when my doctor friend came in, she was so mad that, why haven't they attended to you? This. And then she went to meet the nurse that, why haven't you attended to this girl? And then she was like, and she wasn't crying now, that's why. And then my doctor friend was like, are you kidding? So she's supposed to be crying or rolling before you attend to her? That's not right. So if we say we are in crisis, we are definitely in crisis.
I mean, that would lead me to the next question, the challenges that you do face with society. I mean, outward challenges now.
Stigmatization, that's it. We face a lot of stigmatization. As a matter of fact, the one that is very, very pronounced is our workplace stigma. I was laid off last year because of this. And then several of my friends too. Recently, a friend of mine, he was even the first 3 that got he passed the interview and everything. So when they call them in, they interview them, they were like, okay, they should present maybe their medical fitness or whatnot, I don't know. And then he presented his, and then they were like, oh, sorry, we can't give you this job because I don't want to mention the company right now, but then this company actually told my friend that they cannot give him this job because he is sickle cell. Why? And then you don't know this person. You haven't even tried him yet. Okay,
so some people will argue on the side of the employers. I mean, I wouldn't want a situation where you have a crisis, you cannot show up at work, you can't be as efficient as another person that isn't.
But then what would you have us do? So does it mean that we're lesser beings? Because we live with sickle cell doesn't mean we can't be there. Why would other people have it and we don't have it? This leads to depression. This leads to suicidal, having suicidal thoughts and all. So what would you have us do? So that's why, in my own case, I would advise that warriors, they should just equip themselves. So it's not ideal that, okay, it's not a must that you must work for others. Be self-employed yourself. So that's it.
Okay, now my next question would be, you mentioned depression and so that's suicidal thoughts. Walk us through that in your personal journey. Have you battled depression? Have you firsthand? I know you have, but I need you to share it with us here.
And then getting out of that depression was just by God's grace. And then I made mention of one person, my dad. My dad has just been a strong support system for me. If not for my dad, I don't think I will be seated here. I love that man so much.
That is so sweet.
So he's the one person that I look up to, and I'm like, no, this man, I want to cry.
Oh no, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
So I've battled depression a whole lot of times, but then I sit down to actually reflect that I am enough. I tell myself this every day. I am enough. I'm the best version of myself. I am a special being. I tell myself this all the time. I tell myself that even if the world doesn't love me, I would love myself. So this goes out to other warriors too. If you're facing depression, if you're having suicidal thoughts, it will come. It will surely come. Workplace, environment, everywhere, people will stigmatize you. But then, be up on guard. Hold yourself. You're a queen. You are a king.
You got this.
You got this. Yes,
you got
this.
Oh my God. I want us to keep going on and on, but we've got like 3 minutes to wrap this up, and I want us to talk about, let's sensitize whoever needs to hear, just in case we are forgetting what it is, because I know the most common one that people will know is if you are AS and the person is AS, don't create a child together.
Yes,
just don't risk it.
AS and AS, they are non-compatible genotypes, and the only compatible genotypes, let me just list it: AA and AA, of course, they are compatible. AA and AS, they are compatible. AA and SS, they are compatible. Okay, AA and SC, they are compatible. AA and AC, they are compatible. So, like, the only compatible genotype to get married to any other non-compatible genotype is AA. Why are you proud and why are you vain? I don't get this.
I remember finding out. I found out I was.
But AA, then I would love to buttress on this thing. Even if you're AA, please try as much as possible to also do the test in 2-3 other hospitals, because
to confirm
the hospitals now, or the tests that were, the reports I'm even getting these days are that people will just slide into my inbox. They'll be like, but I checked my genotype, they told me I'm AA, but I now just blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, how many times did you check this thing?
Absolutely.
Yes, they'll be like, and they just knew while they were growing up that they were AA.
I was about to say that while I was growing up, I actually thought that I was,
not that it changes. It might just be as a result of maybe
bad.
You
have to confirm.
You
have to, because sometimes it's just not correct. It's just not accurate.
That's
because
the
word. Of the system that we do have running right now. It's been an amazing 30 minutes. I wish we had more time to actually talk about this. You would definitely come back. I hope you would come back.
Yes, I will.
So that we can talk about it. June 15th.
June 19th. Yes. June 19th is World Sickle Cell Day, guys. If you have any sickle cell warrior around you, please show love to them. Let them know you love and care for them. Send them gifts, send them money, send them fuel.
Sickle cell is expensive.
I just said send them fuel.
Yes, it's very important. Well, thank you so much, Judith, for coming by. You're such an amazing soul. And of course, please do stay